All right. It is the 19th of January, 2026. Ooh, it's just the 19th, isn't it? So that means that we still have 12 days to go. That is almost 2 weeks to end January. So bad, man. Huh? Still in the 20th day of proper sunshine in Nairobi. If the sun is not risen up where you are, just give it a couple of minutes. It's going to come up again. Yeah. They say the 50 days of January. So which is your day? Is it the 50th or is it the 60th? I've seen a couple of videos of Kenyans already wishing other Kenyans a happy 2027, saying that January has been very tough. So let's forget about it and talk about 2027. But it is what it is, isn't it? Welcome to yet another new week right here on Look Up TV. We have a jam-packed session for you. A lot is happening across the country politically, but most importantly, there's a lot that is happening in ODM that we talk about it this morning. Winnie Odinga and family have been speaking, and they have spoken. They have spoken a lot. All that we're going to do this morning is put it into proper perspective and ask the question, do they have a point? The so-called NDC, as it stands, it's getting closer and closer. Sifuna has been speaking as well. I'll be telling you exactly what we've been talking about. It looks as if ODM is now at a burning point. Do they have a way forward? And this conversation of broad-based government, are they going to really crack it? Because within the party, there are conversations that indeed there needs to be a relook into these handshake politics that have been so much announced by ODM. We saw last week some members of best government conversations. If you listen to the conversations, those ones were in government, the likes of Mbadi, they are all praising President Dr. William Ruto and his projects, and they are saying that this is the way to go. But in reality, there are those within ODM now who feel that it's not time for us to get into the broad-based government conversations beyond 2027. Which way is it going to go? If you listen to that conversation and that speech by Winnie Odinga, the main thing is that you cannot copy and paste Baba. That was a message. She was short of calling for an NDC. She was short of saying Obu Odinga cannot lead this party into 2027. But if you listen to conversations that are coming from other party members, they're now calling for those who are disrespecting the party leader to be kicked out of the party. Ida, Mama Ida, and the board of trustees have said it's not time for us to kick any other person out of ODM, that it's time for us to consolidate our powers to go to the negotiating table. But the reality is that negotiating table is what the likes of Winnie Odinga, the likes of Sifuna are saying, why can't we invite others to a negotiating table? Why are we getting invited? We put that conversation in proper perspective this morning. We're just waiting for our guests to walk into the studio this morning so that we can start that conversation. I'll be introducing them once they come in for this conversation. For now, let's really jump into what it is that you're waking up to this morning in terms of your dailies. Before then, we get into that conversation this morning. And as usual, we're going to start with the Daily Nation this morning. And it's exactly what we are talking about this morning that they have. And I'll put it into proper perspective for you so that you know what you're going to buy this morning. And this is what Winnie Odinga is saying. Baba died just the other day, but they are in a hurry to get some things done. Not everyone believed in Baba. Some were only using him. That is Yala Member of Parliament Winnie Odinga. That's what it is. This is what he's saying. speaking yesterday at Kamukunji grounds in Kibra, Nairobi County. Now, if you listen to those, let's listen to the sentiments then of one Oburu Odinga, who's saying those who wish to leave should do so on their own. Our focus is strengthening the party. You can hear what Oburu Odinga is saying. He's saying, well, we are not going to kick you out. If you want to leave, leave on your own accord. For us, we're not going to kick you out, because our focus as a party is to strengthen ODM, not to weaken it. That's what Oburu Odinga is saying. And that's why it is, because the Board of Trustees have already spoken. They've said nobody is going to get kicked out of the party. And it's not the very first time that we've seen attempts to kick the likes of Edwin Sifuna out of the party thwarted within the party itself, saying that if you kick the likes of Edwin Sifuna out, the likes of Winnie Odinga out, or speaking against the party leader, you are essentially weakening the party, and that will not be good for ODM currently as it is. So if you look at this conversation, where it stands currently as it is, it means that indeed ODM is at crossroads. You kick somebody out, you weaken the party. You keep them in, they are speaking against the push for the party to get into an alliance with ODM. Now, Petroyas is what he's saying. Speakers of the Kibra rally turned the heat on ODM officials, crushing dissent contrary to Raila's ideals. That's what they were talking about yesterday. Now, Winnie Odinga, the daughter of former ODM leader Raila Odinga, who died last October, has criticized an ODM wing she accuses of seizing power, railroading decisions without consultations, and threatening critics with expulsion from the party. Winnie also defended ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Wino setting up a clash with party leader Oburu Odinga, who is her uncle. That's the state of affairs within ODM, and we're going to talk about that this morning. We're going to read, if you want to get that newspaper, that story has been covered on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation, and also covered on our social media platforms at Lookup TV across all of them. If you want to see those pictures from Kamukunji yesterday, you'll find them right there of Winnie Odinga addressing that gathering at Kamukunji. But if you do remember, Raila Odinga liked Kamukunji so much, you know. They loved those grounds. Every time they would go in for those announcements within the party and also announce rallies across the country, that would start from Kamukunji. Is quite a notable ground for ODM politics. And Winnie and company chose it yesterday. And by the way, if you listen to her, she said, "Nimekuja kuchoma." Interesting conversations right there. All right, gonna go all the way to page 3. Why Buddy Carey boats are in trouble. There's a story that has been covered here. Now, late last year, 2 ships with 55,000 tons of duty-free rice from India and Thailand docked at the port of Mombasa. The shipments, worth about 6 billion, would not have attracted controversy were it not for the court order blocking the grain imports. Now, petitioners claim the government defied the court order by publishing a new imports notice to circumvent another frozen by the courts. They want the High Court to sanction Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Badi and Kenya Revenue Authority Commissioner General Humphrey Watanga, arguing the imports disadvantage local farmers. There's a man under siege. That's Mbadi, isn't it? Did they overlook it? And that story has been covered on page 3. You want to read it? Then you can go right ahead and read it on page 3 as well. Biden has been quite vocal on issues governance in the country, even talking about the latest move then to offload some shares for Safaricom. This is another one that has caught him in his docket. That story has been covered on page 3. On page 6, Kenyans still lured to Russia war. It's a story that we started covering last year. It looks as if we're still on it as well. Now, Kenyans still being lured to Russia war. When Erastus Nyale left Kenya last October, he believed he had secured a 6-month driving job in Russia that would finally ease his family's financial strain. It's a story that has been covered again, over and over again. These types of stories that For those Kenyans who went seeking employment or good jobs in Russia, majority of them found themselves fighting in the Russia-Ukraine war, a war or I think it's cattle that's still going on up to now, with majority of Kenyans then finding themselves being drafted into a war that they never enlisted. It's time that Kenya should act, isn't it? That story has been covered on page 8. On page 7, from Kanu's fall to Gen Z's rise, factors shaping LSK elections. That story has been covered on page 7, while some Law Society of Kenya presidents have been vocal and aggressive, others have been reserved. You're going to read that story on page 7 of the Daily Nation. Just like I say, majority of these stories are also covered on our social media platforms and Look Up TV across all of them. Once you're there, a like, a subscription is all that we ask for, isn't it? Let's cross over then to the Standard this morning and also see what they have for you. The Standard is talking about ODM, on how ODM rift has exploded. Is a story that has touched both sides of the dailies this morning. Now, if you look at where we are, Powerball, Winnie Odinga has stormed back into ODM politics with a show of force that has rattled the party's new power center, commanding mammoth Kamkunji crowd, reminiscent of our late father's rallies. The Iala Member of Parliament warned party bosses against unilateral decisions and demanded a national delegates conference before any 2027 realignments. Her intervention sharply contrasts with the smaller rival meetings led by party leader Oburu Odinga and exposes widening cracks as ODM weighs coalition talks with President Ruto's UDA. From Kibra to Kakamega, the party Raila built is now openly divided between unity calls, rebellion, threats, and a high stakes fight for its soul. By the way, that story has been covered on page 2 and 3 of the Standard. That's how it is, isn't it? And if you listen to this quote, and we're going to talk about it heavily then this morning, they threatened not to allow us to come here. We have come back home, and I'm in the bedroom. I have even removed my shoes to feel comfortable. As the last born, I must fix mistakes when I see them. That is Winnie Odinga, Iala Member of Parliament. And this is what she's referring to. We're going to play for you those clips this morning. Last week, some members of Parliament allied to ODM threatened that if they were not coming to the Kamkunji meeting to support the broad-based government conversations, then they better not. And this is what seemingly the Iala Member of Parliament, Winnie Odinga, is referencing to right here on this particular one. It's a good thing that that's exactly what we're going to get into this morning and talk about it heavily. I can already see some of the guests that we anticipate then to be in the studio walking into the studio this morning. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about this morning. Do you think that there is now a clear split within ODM? If you go by what we've seen Winnie Odinga do this weekend, holding separate meetings at a time when the party leader was also in Kakamega, meeting a couple of delegates from ODM, do you think now that it's clear that you can deny it, that there's a clear rift within ODM, and that ODM is sort of shy of making that big decision? And if they were to make that big decision, then what would that decision look like? Is it clear now? Talk to us at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. We're going to get into this conversation in just a couple of minutes from now so that we can put this conversation also into proper perspective. Because indeed, this is a conversation that we've been really wanting to have since last week up to now. But ODM has been gripping headlines, and it looks as if now, more than ever, it's becoming clear on exactly what is happening within that party. Is there a rift within ODM? And if indeed there is one, are they afraid of solving it? The hashtag is The Morning Drift. Talk to us at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. Again, just before then, we start that conversation this morning as we wait for all of our guests to walk into the studio. Let me look at what you're waking up to this morning in terms of your trends, so that we can then jump right into it. There's a lot. And for the sake of this conversation, then let me just begin with that, because it looks as if Kenyans are looking at it. Here it is. Winnie Odinga rallies Kibra crowd against ODM copy-pasting Raila. All right, this is how it is. Just before then, we go into it. Edwin Sifuna this morning saying, where's the copy-based Baba? All right, Chogo, I don't know what it means. Yes, it's a good thing that that Oye is in the studio this morning to tell us what Chogo means. I do not know. All right. Just before we look at what is happening in Uganda as well this morning, couple of sentiments before we jump into the election results in Uganda. Bill that was saying, time for young folks to take over the mantle and steer the ship forward. There is Major who's saying, mambo yamechamuka hapa. All right. The Kenyan vigilante was saying, kuna maneno hapa. All right. Kanyada was saying, mabroka ODM akina Junet Mohamed, Gladys Wanga na Mzee Oburu Odinga wasione hii. All right. Winnie Odinga amenguruma kwa kweli, mtoto wa Simba ni Simba. I'll talk about that as well. Juma Wycliffe, sorry, good morning, sir. Was saying, Omwami Sifuna, Baba alisema hivi, I'm proud of you, Omwami, for championing Baba's ideas. Mungu akubariki kwa kutomsaliti Baba. All right. That's how it looks this morning on the ODM camp, and majority of these comments are the ones that we're going to dwell on heavily this morning. But you do know that elections in Uganda then were declared, done and dusted, and Yoweri Museveni is in for the 7th term. But what is of note is what Bobi Wine was the biggest challenger to Yoweri Museveni. He has been speaking, and he's released a couple of clips which he says tend to show election officials marking ballot papers to support one Yoweri Museveni's re-election. Let's look at this clip and then come back and talk about it.
Iyo mshahara bakwiye zinde zo kwiza kwa nyongo bakiriya nano ni kurombo mugwanyi nini mbe ucyande bakiriya no kore chawe.
That's how it is, isn't it? Clips that Bobi Wine is claiming that indicate election officials that are marking ballot papers in favor of Yoweri Museveni. All right. Let me just read a couple of sentiments. And by the way, we're going to see exactly what Yoweri Museveni said yesterday upon his confirmation as the continuing president of Uganda. This is what he said: I feel for these officials because they had no option. Their facial expression is clear. This is Hillary Lovey, who was saying, but where were the opposition polling agents? If the opposition was united, at least some agents from other parties would stop this madness. But the politics of Tingitia umbrella showed it was NAP versus the rest, thus being our own. All right, Ugandans understand the value of peace under President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. They refuse to elect a divisive leader disguised as a reformist. Bobi Wine will not lead Uganda now or in the future. That is Dr. Zach at 2:55. Good morning, sir. All right, just a couple of responses to this. Adui Yagawa, who's saying they are patriotic, who intend to protect the country. Congratulations to them. I do not think so, sir. All right. Finally, then, Elijah was saying that I'm waiting for the real results. Which one, sir? He's been confirmed by the electoral body. All right. Now, upon his confirmation, we do know that the entire world was watching Museveni and Uganda, and we saw exactly what happened. Internet shut off, you couldn't make phone calls, you couldn't move across the country. In fact, the confirmations of deaths from Uganda. What we do know is that it took to the podium then after his re-election, and this is a clip from UBC, that is the state broadcaster, clear images that came from right there. Let's then take a look at what he said and then come back and react.
10 million of my people did not turn up. They would have been embarrassed badly. Because you see, we got 8 million votes about, but remember, we have got, when we reviewed the membership on the 6th of May, you remember we had 21 million members, and 18 million of them are voters.
Okay, for those who've not listened, let me tell you what Yoweri Museveni is saying. Yoweri Museveni is saying, you guys are lucky. I would have won further, because according to him, 10 million of his supporters did not turn out to vote. Yeah, because he said we had 21 million. If we review our numbers, just before we got into the election, so 21 million of my voters didn't turn out to vote. You guys were lucky. I would have won by a bigger margin. Maybe somebody should ask him. Them not turning out to vote probably is a message to you, sir. It doesn't mean that they just didn't come out to vote for you. You should ask yourself the question, why didn't they come out to vote for me? Is that something that you should ask yourself as well? Because majority of your countrymen also react in the same way. They're saying, well, this is according to Leslie this morning, who's saying, is there no other wise person in Uganda except this man? Uganda's youth have failed Africa. That's what they're saying this morning. All right? 10 million of us don't even care who's willing. That's what Amanya is saying this morning. We can't even mention 5 ministers. We don't even know our incumbent members of parliament. You see, those are your countrymen speaking directly to you. Just that they didn't come out to vote. That's also a message, sir, if you should get it. Yeah? You should be worried that 10 million of the supporters, the so-called supporters, didn't come out to vote. Let me just read the final one here. Power may silence a nation. This is Elvis Award. But it never protects a legacy. One wonders if dictators pause to think of the families that will leave behind, forced to live among the very people they oppressed. Authority fades, memory remains, and it is inherited. Finally then, this is Judah Stone. Talk about the price of bread and milk, Museveni. You have peers who are grandpas now who could have had a different life with their children had you not subjected them to hyperinflation and poverty. I mean, you can see majority of the reaction from Uganda. Ugandans are not happy with the way, majority of Ugandans might not be happy with the turnout of those elections. And the world watching you put them into a shutdown just because you're getting into an election. We might not know what happened in Uganda because the rest of us were blocked out. It is what it is, man. All right. Away from what is happening in Uganda, let's look at another big event that was going on in Africa. Now, what you do know is that we had the AFCON finals yesterday, And the tournament has treated us to drama, but for those people who watched, and by the way, kama ulikuwa unaona game ya Aston Villa na Everton na ukakosa kuona game ya Senegal na Morocco, then you're not a true patriot. Yeah, you should stop calling yourself a football fan. But anyway, here is a summary before we look at those two clips that I'm going to play for you this morning. Senegal felt robbed. Yeah, was a soft penalty that was awarded without going to a VR check, and went to a VR check, and a penalty was awarded. The same case happened to Morocco, all right? And Senegal also felt aggrieved, because how is it that we're getting given a penalty that we don't feel that it should have given to Morocco? Well, Senegal players decided to walk off the pitch. So for a couple of minutes, Morocco couldn't take the penalty, yeah, because Senegal, the players walked off the pitch. But it's a good thing that Sadio Mane, all right, led the charge in calling them back. Otherwise, it could have been a forfeited match. All right, just before then, we get into our conversation this morning. Let's take a look at it. First, we're going to start with Senegal. This is them finally winning AFCON. Proper drama. I mean, for those people who know, it has lived to the drama. Right? Nigeria getting kicked out, you know, Mo Salah missing penalties as well. I mean, his form has carried from Liverpool all the way to the national team. Leave that aside now. Let's watch the drama then that ensued later on after players just couldn't come back to the pitch. So let's watch now the second clip then together of Senegal players refusing to come back, and there was also actually a fight almost ensued on the pitch between the officials of both sides. If you don't have it, can we play the next one so that we can showcase what happened last night to those guys who were sleeping as we're waiting for it then. Let me just read a couple of remarks here. Yes, there it is. There it is now. You can actually see both sides roughing each other on the sidelines of that game. And they were not good pictures because that throws everything into controversy. By the way, even me as an Arsenal fan, this weekend, if I had an opportunity to go to the pitch, I would have gone to the pitch because we were supposed to give a penalty that we didn't see, you know. But since come Africa, we express our emotions right there and then, and we went to the pitch to express it. Not so good pictures when you think about it, but I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? We got the winner. AFCON is done. Let's think about another edition in a couple of years to come, isn't it? All right. Here we go then. Couple of reactions. This is Glitchy who's saying AFCON intensity is simply unmatched. It's true. It's actually true. We never say this. And the best goals, if you want to watch the best goals in any tournament, watch AFCON. And you want to watch the best goal celebrations, watch AFCON. Yeah, trust me. Waldes are scored in AFCON. All right? He missed the penalty on purpose. This is Joseph Katumba. This guy is just playing on our heads. A picture here of Sadio Mane, a leader and a hero. I mean, you know what he did. It's clear penalty. They should just get off. Thank you, Senegal, for choosing not to be bullied. Very bad officiating. This five has killed African football. I kind of agree, you know. It's a final. Any little thing should go to VAR. Don't rush it. Please don't rush it. It's a final. And this is my call to all referees. Yeah? I know Arsenal is going to play the semi-finals against Chelsea in just a couple of days to come. Please, it's a semi-final. If you can go to VAR, go to VAR. Take your time. Do not rush, you know, and do not give out silly cards. That's how you win the game. That's how you mess up the game. Finally, then, still the Ant-Mad, the officiating at this AFCON has been one of the worst ever, favoring the Moroccan national team all the time. Few minutes earlier, Senegal scored. No VAR. Assist to check. Yes. We all saw that. It was cancelled. I am glad Senegal won the match and scored a goal that could not be disputed. But Morocco disputed it. They said it was a weak penalty. That's what they said. All right? but it is what it is. I mean, it's football, and it's for entertainment, not for sadness, isn't it? All right. Now, that's exactly what it is that you're waking up to this morning in terms of your trends. More on our social media platforms and Look Up TV across all of them. This morning then, our guests are seated right here in the studio. Winnie Odinga has spoken for the second time. Guess what? She said, we need an NDC. Members of ODM are also speaking. I mean, it's clear now, and we do not know whose side is got this clarity. Last week, members of ODM came in and said any other person who doesn't support this broad-based government conversation should get out of the party. Winnie Odinga comes and says, "Hakuna mahali mnatupeleka bana. We are not getting out." Oburu Odinga is also saying, we are not kicking anybody out. If they let them have been in Kakamega, they were not. Guess what? Our guests are in the studio. Let's take a tiny breather. Once we come back, let's come make sense of the mess that is going on in ODM.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu, wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, "Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands. Depend on your hands more."
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Is it for you to forgive someone who has hurt you?
How easy is it?
What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot.
They look familiar.
Have we met before?
No.
We met in
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Yes, we have in the studio this morning, I do have the president of the Kenya Young Turks, Alfred Mumbo. I also do have a man who doesn't agree with Samuel Makure, but then I'm going to tell him exactly what Samuel Makure this morning has said. Man from the Kenya Youth ODM League. Oh yeah. He's a man that I've fought over and over in the studio. Just tell us exactly what's going on ODM. We do not know whether he's trying to be politically correct. So I hope this morning that both of them will lay loose and speak about what's going on in ODM. Mr. Mumbo, how are you doing, sir?
Thank you.
Oh yeah, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm happy.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Are you happy?
I'm perfect. I'm chef.
Where were you this weekend? Were you at Kamkunji or in Western?
No, before me we go to the Kamkunji and the Western.
Yes.
Before me, because we had a great African show yesterday.
Big one.
And I think the Senegalese national team showed us what resilience means. And I think hats off to the great Sadio Mane, the greatest of our time and in the continent. He's decided to choose sportsman over emotions. And again, during challenges like the one we had yesterday, when everything was, all the odds were against Senegal, Mane stood against the odds and showed what leadership means.
That's it.
To storm to calm the storms. Over the weekend, a lot have been happening from the ODM party. And maybe, Simba, there are those who don't know who I am as well. I think it will be much in order as well. That's
it.
I am Jared Oye with a moniker name called Commissar from the ODM Youth League. That is the young Turks in the party, the youth wing in the political party ODM, where I am a delegate elected and also an aspirant for the position at the national level in the league leadership. Yes. So over the weekend, a lot has happened in our political party. I think that for the past months now, it has been at the center of the political conversation in the country. And things are aligning. I'm pretty sure that where we are finding our roots, and the voices of the reason are going to prevail, and they're already prevailing. The names that Pia umetaja Kasmuelapo, I think when we get into the conversation, we'll place everybody where they belong. Yeah.
That's it. All right. Mumbo, how are you doing, sir? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, where were you this weekend? Were you in Western or were you in Kamkunji?
I've been in Nairobi, of course.
Yes.
I almost went to Kamkunji, but I remember that is not my party. So I need to be able to stay on the fence and watch my former party and how it's actually unfolding.
Yeah.
Whatever took place in my home county in Kakamega, that was expected, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. All right, gentlemen, let's then get into the conversation. And I would like us to start like this. Let's just cross over then to what we had this morning on the Daily Nation. We start breaking it there for our guests to also get proper perspective and for our audience to also come into the conversation this morning. This is what the Daily Nation, let's even begin here from the Standard as well. This is what the Standard is calling it. ODM rift explodes. They're calling it a year. For you this morning, you're saying things are realigning, but then the Standard is saying, no, that is a rift that has already exploded. And they're saying that Buni Odinga has stormed back into the ODM politics with a show of force that has rattled the party's new power culture, all right? Commanding a mammoth Kamkunji crowd reminiscent of a late father, Raila Amolo Odinga. The Iala Member of Parliament warned party bosses against unilateral decisions and demanded a national delegates conference before any 2027 conversations or realignments. Essentially sticking it again to the party leadership saying, we need an NDC. That essentially is as close as saying, yo, we need new leaders, but now, you guys, we don't recognize you. All right. Let's then look at the Nation as well this morning and see exactly what they have. This is what the Nation is saying. It's Odinga versus Oginga as well. And they're saying Baba died just the other day. This is Winnie Odinga speaking. But they are in a hurry to get some things done. Not everyone believed in Baba. Some were only using him. Oburu Odinga says those who wish to leave the party should do so on their own. Our focus is strengthening the party. That's exactly where we are with that stalemate within ODM. Let's begin like this then. As the Standard called it, oh yeah, you keep on saying things are realigning, but the Standard is saying, no, it has already exploded.
Simba. What happened, I think, on Wednesday, we had Dr. Boro, the party leader, and the brigade, ODM brigades, who were in Kamkunji.
Yes.
And then they went to Kakamega. Before they came to Kamkunji, they had the CNC meeting, which of course we also criticized how it was done. Before coming to Kamkunji, after Kamkunji they went to Kakamega, which of course again, we from now, those who may feel that things are not being done right are asking ourselves the tough questions, as Winnie puts it. Where's the rush into running to the coalition as well? Yes. So first, as they put it, there's rift. I think there's no clear rift in ODM party. The deal in the ODM is that democratic fabric that all this political party together. And I think for the past 20 years, what have made ODM to be the ODM it is this dissenting versus Simba. Yes. You see, when Winnie stood up at Kamkunji to speak, it was a voice of reason prevailing. And as things stand today, I'll tell you, as Winnie was putting it, there are those who we have never seen them anywhere. During our street protests or street actions, but today they're the loudest on the mics trying to give us direction. Yes. That is one. Number two is that there's a rift. We can say there's a rift. The things that happened yesterday were clear fundamentals that have to happen in this political party ODM. We can have even 10 rallies in the country different, because this is one of the biggest political party in the nation. Yes. You get. And I think again on the same, we are not going to compare these two rallies and these two people, because again this gives us the purpose on what is the different logistics that we are trying to hit on and what are we going to present on the table. There are two people here. They are not individuals. Yes. They are reasons. They are not personalities. They are ideals. Winnie Odinga present the continuity to those who believe that this party needs to be here for the next 20, 40 years to come, or 60. Yes. And then there's another function that are very busy seeing it in the short term on 2027. And what next? That is the toughest question. But maybe some will not be able to answer. There are busybodies that we are seeing today that any chance that they get, not only on the mics, but when they see the cameras, how they react and even dance, we ask ourselves, were they really genuine with Baba, Mzera, and Molo Odinga? Yes. Did they really believe on the ideals and the principles of the party ODM? Where we stand today as young people in the ODM party, I'll tell you, as Winnie was saying yesterday, that nobody will walk out of that ODM party. Kama ni kukanyagana, tutakanyagana tu hapo ndani tu. Hakuna mwenye tatoroka. This is the only living legacy that Raila Odinga have left for us. We know that we have other legacies that he have built. But a party that feeds and people join it daily, I think is a breathing system that we can't allow to be choked by those who have their self-interest higher than the political party position that need to come from the people. Yes. Another thing that we must agree on, the rally that we had yesterday in Kamkunji, led by Winnie, that was very organic. There was no mobilization. There was no cohesion. We only had there 2 MCAs. That is Ogeto, and we also had Ochieng Jera. Yeah. There were only 2 MCAs with the 2 elected leaders, apart from Winnie, who of course is a Yala MP. The people came out willingly. And again, if you're very keen, Simba, that the ODM we know is the ODM we know how we do our people consultation. We let people speak. speak. You let people hear their thoughts and their voices and the position that they think we need to take. And that's what happened yesterday. Compare the two. Compare what was in Kamkunji, where leaders came to tell people what they think needs to be done. The other one yesterday is the people were telling Winnie and the comrades she had at Kamkunji on what they think need to be done. In ODM party, the decisions are always from the on the lower pyramid, from the people to the leadership, and not vice versa, from the leadership to the people.
Oh yeah, just before I cross over to Mumba this morning, how can you help us interpret the two events that happened at Kamkunji? Because last week the event at Kamkunji was clear, and I'm going to play for you clips that emanated from Kamkunji after your party leaders went there. It was clear, and they say that any other person who's not supporting William Ruto for the 2027 general elections, get out. It looks as if Winnie Odinga was responding to that, and in fact, it was a response yesterday when she said, you can't tell us what to do. This party, for us to have any negotiation, nothing is going to be decided until we have an NDC. Guess what the rejoinder was last Wednesday? We're supporting Dr. William Ruto in the 2027 general elections. I'm going to play for you a couple of clips this morning so you can have a reference point. Is that not a rift? It was a response to the party leaders who went to Kamkunji and told the people where the party is headed. Winnie comes a couple of days later and says, no, we're not headed that direction. Is that not a rift? That's what the Standard is calling it this morning, yeah.
Can I respond?
Yes, please.
I agree with the Standard as they put it. There's a rift ideologically on how we think things should be done and how they need to be done.
Yes.
It's not a rift of personalities and individuals. It's a rift on ideological positions and principles.
It is, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But that's what it is.
Yes, exactly.
Just hold on. For the same people who are carrying these ideologies, they're personalities. We know who they are. Oh, yeah, we know who they are.
You see, when Winnie talks about the NDC and the elections to be done, yes, she was also very clear.
Yes.
Winnie's from Nairobi here. I'm from Nairobi here. We have not finished the elections in Nairobi. Winnie said it clearly.
Yes.
But let us finish the elections in Nairobi and other counties that have not done the elections. We need the NDC. NDC, why do we need the NDC that much? We need to go have a conversation as a political party. We need to go and talk. The things, how things are being done today, I'll tell you, Simba, even us, we are surprised. We are wondering. For the first time in history, the decisions are being made in boardrooms instead of them being made in with the people, then they get redefined in the boardrooms. As they put it from the Standard, that there's rift. The personality is just carrying the idea. But we are not saying that now it is Winnie right or Dr. Guru and the team, but what is Winnie representing? You see the last NDC that Baba had, in Bomas, there's one thing that was outstanding, that Baba said that ODM is going to live beyond the personalities and individuals. Yes. And he was referring to himself, Raila Amolo Odinga, that he will be happy to see ODM live beyond Raila Amolo Odinga. And that is where we are today. We are not going to sit cool and wait and see leaders who are trying to force themselves to the people. We want the people to force themselves into the ODM party and to pursue the ODM party as Baba taught us. What Win is representing on the table is a progressive, futuristic, a coherent, and I'll say optimistic and organic political party, ODM, not coerced into some logic that we don't understand. Yes. You see, when they say that we must support Dr. William Ruto, and that is the no other option, that those are feeling that we can't support the UDA to walk out of the ODM party, there's nothing barring us from the party position that we can field a presidential candidate and even have a post-election pact or agreement or a coalition with the party that will win the election. What if we win? That is one. Number two, we must agree where we are sitting today that the ODM party that we know, there's nothing that can bar us, Simba, from forming a government come 2022. There's no other political party in this country that fits the magnitude and the numbers and the imaginary courts that hold us. No political party, including even the governing, the ruling party, UDA today. The same Dr. William Ruto that they are forcing us into, we know that his cabinets are out to reckon ODM from within. They are no longer in the leadership of the ODM party. We are all aware, we know what CS Joe is doing in coastal Kenya, telling us that he must be the ODM party leader. And if you want to be the ODM party leader, you only have to do one thing. He must resign from the position of the CS and then come swap with Abdul Nasir, who is the DPL from Mombasa. We also know what's happening in Kakamega as well. The CS Oparanya. Yesterday we had two rallies in Kakamega, unfortunately. One was led by Oparanya and other MPs, while Dr. Guru Gingo Odinga also had another consultative meeting with the delegates in Kakamega. So the CSS from the Kenya Kwanza government, who were former members of the ODM party holding positions, are today trying to reckon the party of Raila Amolo Odinga. That Raila Amolo Odinga is the one who gave them the opportunity, presented their names in the cabinet, and also fronted them. So unfortunate. Today you also see CSS even from the likes of Wandai, who was trying to give us direction. I think we are setting a very bad precedence moving into the future, where CSS are coming into the political parties to give direction and also have their voices. They are servants of they are civil servant. I think they shouldn't be partisan at all. So they are setting for us a very bad precedence. We have party leaders, we have the party structure, and the party structure that can call and recall the leaders as they put it. Those are feeling that maybe they can fire Sifuna and so on and other leaders. They can only be fired in NDC.
Pretty much. Mr. Mumba, I'm going to give you the same time that I've accorded Oye this morning, so we can sort of get to the base of this conflict that we're reading in ODM. First, Mumba, you should declare your feeling about this issue. Are you happy with the ongoings in ODM as a UDA party member?
I'm not a UDA party member, but I'm not happy with what is taking place in my former party, ODM. Simba, yes?
Partyless.
I'm planning to come up with my own party. Maybe I'll declare.
Why are you inviting people who are partyless? And don't talk about political parties. Why are you inviting those who are partyless to come to this is unfortunate. This is unfair.
You don't leave Simba, you don't leave a marriage and get into another marriage immediately.
Are you getting quoted currently as it is?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's winning it?
I'll speak about it. I'll speak about it. Okay, let me answer your question.
Yes, Mumba.
Simba, it's high time we agree that ODM party is getting to its how do you call it? Should I say menopause? Yeah, it's getting to its menopause, and the better, the earlier we agree on that, the better, because you see what is actually taking place. The rift you hear, is it the Standard talking about?
Yes,
the Standard talking about. It's actually very true. You see, when Winnie is actually holding her own meeting, when there is a party meeting, whatever they are calling Linda Ground. Is it Linda Ground?
Yes.
Linda Ground party meeting in the western region, that is Kakamega. That means there is already a rift, a very big rift in the party. I agree with my brother here that people within ODM are differing on principles and ideology, which is actually okay. That's why you're not able to see Kina Sifuna, Kina Caleb Amisi, Babu Owino, the Winnie Odinga in the meeting in Kakamega, the one called Linda Grounds. So the ODM party has already fallen apart. It's already breaking, and they should be worried.
Yes.
Initially, it was ODM. It was governments looking for ODM, but as we speak right now, it is now ODM looking for the government. ODM should be very much worried. And you've heard my brother here say that there are people from within the party who used to hold the party positions initially, who are now CSs, who are coming to reckon the party. It's very true. They're not reckoning the party. They're only claiming their positions that they actually they were holding as the members of the party. Yes. Remember, even as a cabinet secretary today, I used to be a member of the party. He's a life member of a party before he even becomes a CS. So when he's coming back to be able to claim the position in the party, he's not actually coming to be able to reckon the party. He's only trying to be able to look for the position that he used to hold initially as a member of the party, as a life member of the party. So if you look at the ODM party today, I think like I mentioned earlier, it's getting to its menopause. And everybody should be worried, because if you look at it keenly, they are not likely to get into the position they want to be able to get into come 2027.
Yes.
Because nobody is willing to come up and form a pact with a reckoned party, a party that is not within its structures. Because remember, ODM right now has more than 100 MPs on the ground. That is what Dr. William Ruto was actually looking at initially. Do you think if it has anything less, is the president going to give it the same priorities he's giving them right now with the same members it has as we talk? It's not going to be able to happen that way. So ODM as a party, I think they need to be able to bring themselves together, hold the NDC they are calling for, have a conversation within the party and look for the way forward. Because as we talk right now, they're not likely to go get something formidable on the table in any discussion with any government if they are scattered like they are today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But just before I cross over to here as well, it was a bit strange. You would think that the likes of Winnie Odinga would accompany, because the key faces, the key youthful faces within the ODM leadership, they would accompany the party leadership to Kakamega and drum up support for the Linda Ground initiative, isn't it? I mean, it was a major event in Kakamega, and you would expect the majority of those party leaders would be with the party leader in Kakamega. But they chose not to do that. They attracted different crowds right in Nairobi, and the messaging was different. The messaging was not informed even by the party leader. They took out their own initiative and said, we're going to go communicate differently. For us, our agenda today is different. The party agenda is, we're in Kakamega to Nalinda Ground, but for us, our message is to these party leaders, we want an NDC, do not get into any negotiation about 2027 before the NDC. Be it what Oye is calling it. Oye is saying it's an ideological difference. But can't we already see that there's a personality difference, that we don't like the people that are guiding us in this direction? Let's get different people that can guide us in a different direction. Is that what it is? But Oye is not calling it.
He's not calling it because he knows that is the truth. You see, what is in ODM today, Winnie Odinga, like my brother calls it, is actually trying to, is the voice of reason. These are people who are not happy with the coalition arrangements that are actually being spoken about every other day.
Yes.
They're not happy with the ODM leadership because Winnie believes that ODM can still be able to take a different direction and maybe go look for something different, like presidency, like my brother has been able to speak here. So the voice of people like Winnie Odinga and the rest of the people, if you see them descending from the party leadership, it's not something new.
Yes.
It has been there. It started from Sifuna, and it's now here with Winnie Odinga. And you see, what is expected here, Simba, is that ODM as a party is not going to get into a coalition with the sitting government successfully.
That's it. Oh yeah, just before you even respond to what Mumbo is saying this morning, we are reading some undertones within the communication that is coming from the party. Let me take you back to a time when Edwin Sifuna was under threat to be expelled from the party. The board of trustees, led by Mama Ida, met, and there was a unanimous decision that nobody was going to be kicked out of the party. And the reason they gave out, you're going to scaffold the party at a time we're trying to look for our current realignments. One, you would think it will stop there. It didn't stop there. Because Edwin Sifuna comes out and says, look here, if this party is going to support William Ruto for the 2027 general elections, I'm going to walk out. Yesu responded, oh yeah, in as much as you don't want to tell us that there's a personality difference. One, Oburu Odinga responded, this is what he said, those who wish to live should do so on their own. That's what he said. Our focus is on strengthening the party. So he's telling the likes of Sifuna, who are disgruntled by the move to talk about an alliance with UDA come 2027, he's telling them, we're not going to kick you out. And we've seen it. Oh yeah, we've seen it. Proposals have come, petitions have come, petition the party to kick out the likes of Sifuna, but then the party says, no, we're not going to do that. Mama Ida and the board of trustees say, no, we're not going to kick anybody out of the party. But then Oburu Odinga is saying, look here, you're going to walk out by yourselves. Is that not the rift that we're saying, that ODM is scared that if they pick issue with the people who are fighting the leadership of the party, then the party is broken? Oh yeah.
Simba, the first things first. Sifuna is part of the leadership. It's the SGs, the Secretary General of the party, ODM. That's it. Leadership is not individual. ODM leadership is collective. And that's why decisions are being taken to the Central Management Committee. They are not being made unilaterally by individuals somewhere sitting. And that's why you see even the founding leader of the ODM used to consult extensively. I think you will remember even the 10-point agenda for it to be presented to William Ruto. We, ODM party, under the leadership of Raila Amolo Odinga, he had to go around the country. Here in Nairobi at KICC, he went to Kisumu, he was in Mombasa. Raila walked, he was in Kakamega before presenting this. For the first time, as I was putting it, we are pushing it into negotiation and forming coalition with the UDA without consulting the party members and delegates, as they put it. We have delegates and party members. So do party members want to have a coalition with the Kenya Kwanza? What if the party members are feeling that we can go it on our own? That is one. Number two, on the same, those who are guiding us into the coalition, I think if you're very keen, you'll agree with me. These are people who have been governors. These are people who have been CSS. These are people I'm praying to who are now on their sunset days. They don't care where the audience will be there in the next 30 or 60 years to come. Yes. The people like us, the people like Sifuna, the people like Winnie Odinga, the likes of Ruth, the likes of those who are progressive, are feeling that why can't we first consult the people? Why can't we first consult the ODM members? Why can't we first consult the ODM delegates on the direction that they feel is right for this political party, ODM. Yes. As my brother was touching it, and I think he said something that I'm disagreeing with, those who left, there's no vacuum, but they're coming back to occupy. When Joe went to BCS for mining, his position as DPL was taken by Nasir, the Mombasa governor. When Oparanya left BCS for corporates and SMEs, the Senator Osotsi of Vihiga came in as the deputy party leader. When John Mbadi left to BCS for Treasury, Gladys Nasuna became the chairperson of the ODM. We don't have a vacuum, and they're coming back. That party is not having a vacuum. We must be very clear. And the leadership of that party, I think today where we are, they are not in good position to speak on behalf of the party. These are people who are today in the government, and I think with the UDA. And as CSE will put it, the people in that government are not implementing the Zinero ODM manifesto. They're implementing the UDA Kenya Kwanza agenda that you expect to see them work for the country, Kenya. We have progressive voices that we believe in strongly. There are those, it is not about maybe the age of the generation. I've said this somewhere before, that we can't use age as political transaction. There are those who are young but act weirdly like the old people on their sunset days living, but they're not even sure whether they'll be here in the next 10 years. And then we have another cabal of people who are very progressive, who strongly believe and have the ODM party at heart and the country, that believe that it can be done no matter the time remaining, that you can still get it right in this 1 year before coming into coalition. Yes. Simba, suspending or expelling individuals in that political party, ODM, can't be done, I'm going to say this here again, can't be done on press briefings, can't be done in boardrooms. It can only be done where the collective voices of the ODM delegates and masses strongly believe that maybe the said individual is not in capacity to serve the party. And that can only be done in NDC. Yes. I'm telling you, and that's why the strong voices, the voices of reason that are aligning and going to prevail are saying that we are not going to leave. We are going to build it and remain and guard it with our sweat and with and strength. Yes. This is the only legacy we have. Oh yeah. Let's go back to last Wednesday. And I've got a couple of leaders, MCAs, who stood up to speak. And there was one notable MCA who stood up to speak.
and threatened that any other conversation going forward is going to be a conversation that ties ODM to UDA in 2027. Let's listen to it, because I'm not done with Oye this morning. That's where the ideological differences between Winnie Odinga and Oburu Odinga then come in, because the question is going to be, has Winnie Odinga not fully disagreed with Oburu Odinga then? Let's listen in.
Nimesikia kwamba kuna wale ambao unapanga kukuja hapa Sunday tutafungua hapa Kamkunji. Ikiwa umekuja hapa kama wewe si wa tutam, usikanyage hapa. Hapa ni ngome ya huyu. Ukipanga kuja hapa, ukuja ukisikia maneno ya daktari. Kile daktari atatuambia ndio itafanyika katika ODM. Nimesema asanteni sana.
That's it. He speaks like a man who's fully informed that meeting that was planned for this Sunday, the ones that Winnie Odinga and his company overtook this Sunday, they were told, if you are not coming here to speak about the issues about two-term, don't you dare come here. Oh yeah. So when Winnie Odinga stands and says they dared us not to come here, she's speaking about the party leadership of ODM. She says they say do not dare do that meeting on Sunday and speak against the movement of the party. And then she goes right ahead and does it. And when she's standing there, she stands up and says, we need an NDC. Is she not essentially saying, Buana, you're telling us nothing. We want you out. We are not going to listen to you. Then, oh yeah, why can't you say, like the rest of the audience that we're seeing online and the guys who are watching you this morning are saying, mambo yamechemuka within ODM. Why can't you say, enyewe Simba, uko ODM ni kumoto?
It is unfortunate. That is Honorable Lawi, the one of the MCS in Kebra. I think it was shown. The meeting was done successful, that is one. The numbers which were there were very organic. You could listen to the women, the youths, and people of Kebra in Kamkunji speaking out their hearts. They didn't listen to the theatrics and threats. We will agree, yes, Simba.
Who was he speaking for?
Lawi?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know.
You can say that he was.
I don't know.
He looks like a man who's informed, isn't it?
No, some of the MCS given a chance to speak anything. They want to please someone, we don't know. Yes. But for us, it is ODM party. We are not in any function. Our function is ODM party.
He was speaking for the party.
When he talks about,
yes,
if you're not coming to speak about two-term.
Yes.
ODM, where we stand today, actually, kama mnakumbuka, when the question was posted, when Rala was meeting the ODM, the PG at Manzoni in Machakos.
Yes.
Yes, that who told you? It's the same thing here. We had a pact until 2027.
That's it.
It was not beyond. So we were going to renegotiate and go to the table.
That's it. But then, oh yeah, Lawi was speaking in the presence of your party leaders. He was.
You see the same meeting where he was. There's also another gentleman who came up. I think is vying for the ODM Nairobi Youth League leader, or even wants in front of that Kimbiza. So such utterances, we ask ourselves, such individuals need to be sanctioned by the same party leader if they need us to get things right.
But then, oh yeah, they were necessary threats. They were allowed to speak, and they spoke fully and cleared their message within, just right there in front of your party leadership. They spoke all that. But nobody came up, nobody rose after them and said, no, we can't continue like this. If they want to have their meeting in Kamkunji this Sunday, they're going to come and do it. That message was passed, meaning they were speaking for the party right there and then, oh yeah.
Simba,
yes.
You see what you saw yesterday in Kamkunji? It's the beginning of the beginning. If maybe there are more threats and more warnings, the ODM we know was there in Kamkunji. We're still going to continue. That is one.
That's it.
Number two, on the same breath, this party is big. I think I said here, we had 2 meetings in Kakamega, and they were all orange. They were all fully packed. ODM is the only party that can all even 5 rallies in a day differently. There's no alarm for that. But the messaging, that's where we come in. The messaging is very clear.
Yes.
We have those who strongly believe that this party is not a party that's going to beg, as my brother was putting it. It's not us who should be going to beg the president or maybe the coalition from the other political parties. All along has been those are the parties coming to talks with ODM if maybe we can form the government.
Yes.
For the first time, I'm telling you, we're in a very bad precedence. We're in a very awkward situation where we have never been in our lifetime. It's only that the captain left, but the ship is still intact. There's one thing that we, I think, use the analogy of the bus and the bus,
yes,
where the driver leaves and then those who are sitting in front now scramble for the steering, which is unfortunate. And that's why there are individuals, maybe I don't know how it will be, but there are individuals that we have never seen. There's this gentleman, Okechsala and the likes. We have never seen them. They are not part of the leadership. They are not anywhere.
Yes.
But now they are coming. They're the people in forefront. They're the people who want to hold the mics. They're the people who want to give us direction. Those are the things we will not tolerate. We, the young people of this ODM party, I'm telling you, we, the young people of this party ODM, there are those who may think that party can be protected by muscles. No. We are going to battle it out ideologically.
That's it.
It's the battle of the wits.
That's it. Mr. Mumbo, I'm going to give him a list here that Kenyans have generated, but after you respond to this one, I mean, if an MCA stands in front of the party leader and threatens Sifuna, another MCA comes up and says that meeting that you're trying to organize here for Sunday, if it's not going to be anything about supporting the Tuta movement, don't you dare step here. And threatens that they will not open the ground for them. All right? In the presence of party leaders, I mean, we've seen it happen before. In some ways, if that happened in front of Raila Amolo Odinga, you would have seen him say, no, we are going to play that. And we've seen it happen before. When he defended Edwin Sifuna publicly and said, no, let him speak. He is a party member, he's going to continue speaking. Is it wrong for us who are watching to assume that these MCAs are speaking for the party leadership, that they're informed of the direction that the party is taking? So any other person, so that messaging is also supported by the party, because none of the party leaders who were present in Kamkunji last Wednesday stood up and said, no, you can't speak like that. Two, when Winnie Odinga stands up and says, they told us that had we dared to come here, they would have stopped us. But either way, we've come. Is she not responding to the party leadership? And in this sense, one Oburu Odinga, free Mumbo. Oburu Odinga stands up and says, if anybody wants to leave the party, let them walk out by themselves. We're not going to chase anybody out. I mean, it looks as if from where we're sitting, the battle lines are drawn. I want you to go through those 3 points, because Oye has gone through all those 3 points, and all Oye is presenting is saying it's ideology, democracy. Any other person can speak within ODM. But is that what it is?
In fact, I'll disagree with him. The D in ODM is dictatorship. Currently, what we are actually seeing taking place in the ODM party.
Yes.
Let me first of all respond to your question to do with the meetings at Kamkunji. People daring one another that you cannot be able to hold a meeting here. Or if you have to hold a meeting here, then the conversation should be about two-term. You see, the people speaking on behalf of the party is now everybody speaking on behalf of the party. I've been on these benches before, and we've differed with my brother that everybody's speaking on behalf of the party. Makore is speaking on behalf of the party. Even you, Simba, tomorrow you can be able to stand up and say that you speak on behalf of the party, because that is a party that is already reckoned. So Winnie Odinga at Kamkunji?
Kamkunji, yes.
The conversation she's actually trying to bring on the table is she's differing in a big way that ODM still doesn't have the correct leaders for that case. That's why they are calling for the NDC. They still think that ODM still doesn't have the correct leaders. They still don't have the formidable leaders for that case. And I also agree, my brother is also agreeing with that. In which way? He's saying that there are many leaders. If you say that CSs in the likes of Kinambadi, Oparanya, CS Joho are already at their sunset, you should also be communicating the same about the party leader of the party, who is Dr. B. Odinga, who is also at the sunset of the party. He should be exiting that party, not even as a leader or anything closer to that. If we are calling these other people in the likes of Kina Joho, calling them that they are at their sunset. So if you look at the conversation Winnie Odinga is bringing on the table. She's actually very much uncomfortable with the leadership. That is one. Two, she has nothing that resonates with the ODM fusing up with the UDA to form government beyond 2027 or even now. That is the conversation that even the SG is actually talking about. And I'm glad every other time we meet here, my brother is also agreeing with me that whichever the position the party is actually taking, UDA is an entity and ODM is an entity, which is actually okay, and we agree. But they are already into a coalition. They are already into an agreement. They are working together on the 10-point agenda. So Winnie is actually not really agreeing with the two points that I've been able to mention here. So if you look into another issue here, we've been able to mention something to do with Dr. Buru Odinga saying that nobody's being expelled out of the party. Yes. If you are uncomfortable with the party, you should just walk away. I think this is a leader who has not really been able to understand on how to put people together. What is he trying to communicate to the people, to the dissenting voices for that case? That means he's not agreeing with these people who have dissenting voices. I love the fact when he comes up with the mindset that ODM join government through the back door. And what they're trying to do for this case, they need to be able to join government through the main door. How are they going to do that if the dissenting voices are actually the majority? How? That should be the question of interest here. Because if you look at it keenly, you'll find this is a party leader who is actually not really keen on bringing people together, like my brother has been able to say. Yes. My brother says that ODM is known to bring people together. The voices are coming from the people. Yes. But for this case, the voice is coming from the party leader, which is actually something that is actually also disagreeing with, and I also disagree with the same. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Mobo, I want you to hold your thoughts right there, because I'll be giving you a list once we come from this tiny breather, because I'd like for you to clear your 5-minute presentation on a list that curious Kenyans observing what's going on ODM put together, so that we see, does it really make sense that people will need to be out of ODM for ODM to speak with one voice? That drift would only stop if the list that has been put together right here is going to get out of ODM. Once we come back right here on the morning drift, join us in the conversation. Do you believe that indeed there's a big rift within ODM? Talk to us. Your numbers are right there on your screen. I'll be reading some of those comments as we go on in our broadcast this morning. Good morning.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Pindi tu taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mtazamaji mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Welcome back. So I'll go through just a list that curious Kenyans have put together that they think is the problem within ODM Mumbo. And they're saying that they gotta go if ODM is going to speak in one voice going forward. And I'll just go through the list quickly. There are about 10 members right here, leading Edwin Sifuna, who's publicly come and said he will not support Ruto's re-election, that they need to remove him as SG. There is one Baba Wino who's actually come out and publicly said he wants to be the new ODM party leader, fighting Oburu Odinga, so they need to remove him from ODM. There is a Stewart Madzayo, Millie Odhiambo, and John Ariko been put in the same group, who are saying that we must pause and build consensus within the party so that we can move together with the members, remove a Senate minority leader, National Assembly minority whip, and ODM vice chair respectively. Those three have been put in one group because they're saying these quick negotiations into broad-based government conversations to stop. Winnie Odinga, who said you can't copy-paste Baba, we need an NDC, they need to remove her out. Ida Odinga, who said that the party belongs to all and no one is leading the board of trustees latest move to reinstate Sifuna, who was about to be kicked out of the party. All right. There's Okongo Mogeni, who Raila created a party that stood for the opposed, and it can be sold for 30 pieces of silver. They're saying that those he needs to go. ODM Council of County Chairman, all the 47. No agreement should be entered into before the 10-point agenda has been agreed upon. They said that these ones need to go as well. Otienda Molo, who when asked the position for the party, who said it's time for the entire party to pull together and no one should be left outside. They've said they need to remove him as a vice chair. There's Amos Wako, who wanted party unity removed as ODM trustee. Carol Amondi, who's saying that the people leading ODM today are nasty traders. That's what she said. To auction the party, they've said you need to remove them as well. Now, there's another group here that they've said also need to be included, is the likes of James Orengo, Anyang' Nyong'o. However silent, his position is clearly known. They also need to go. Oye keeps on saying that there is no rift, and should these people deflect, then ODM really can't break. If curious Kenyans, and this is a funny list, is the strong members and leaders within ODM, the Kenyans are saying, ODM, you see, if you want to enter into a handshake with Ruto, then remove all these people from ODM. But then Mumbo, if this long list here has not agreed with the party ongoings in this 2027 alliance conversations with UDA, if you remove all this, aren't you defacing ODM? Aren't you really not defacing ODM? And that's the question that we're putting to Oye this morning. I mean, if all this, including Oye, was here this morning, we're saying we do not agree with some of these movements, but we need to talk as a party. But if the fundamental push for 2027 is we need to get into a pre-election pact with UDA, if all these that I've read here, including Oye, who sit here in the morning are saying no, don't do that, we need an NDC, but the party is already on it. Why can't Oye and the likes of James Orengo and the likes of Sifuna and the likes of Babu just come in and say, see, they've already made up their mind, that CAMC has already made up their mind, we do not agree, and we've been told if you're not supporting it, then get out. Guys, we're getting out. The rift is clear. Is there any other way, Mumbo, that you can put it this morning for a year to see this rift and it's just a step away from it exploding?
Okay, Simba, thank you so much for that. There are no better signs of a sinking ship. Those are the signs of a sinking ship. And there's something I mentioned about dictatorship.
Yes.
That I said ODM, the orange, the D in ODM, I think to me it's dictatorship. Because why did I say dictatorship? And I'm differing with my brother here, he's saying it's not dictatorship, it's democracy. When you are in a party and you cannot be able to raise your voice just because your dissenting voice is not really speaking whatever the party resonates with, yes, then that is not a party. That is something different. So for ODM to be able to start thinking that they can be able to do away with those members and the party still stands, it's very wrong. Because those are the members who hold ODM. You can't talk about ODM without James Orengo. You can't talk about ODM without Edwin Sifuna, the likes of Otienda Amolo, Emilio Odhiambo. That is not ODM. That's it. And you see, there is the days when actually things are not working out. But why should we keep on talking about the talking stage? When should the talking stage in ODM end? Because the talking stage needs to end and put everything into action. I believe that wherever we are headed, there should be, the talking stage should pause and we get into action whereby they are saying this is the decision of the party, this is what we've actually been able to agree on, we are taking this direction. Because the talking stage is too much. They've been able to say that we want to be able to come together and talk. When are they going to talk? Because let them not think that they're going to talk next year in 2027. It will be too late for them. There will be another party equated to ODM, yeah, and ODM will not matter for that case. And if these dissenting voices decide that they want to form their own party, or even join some other forces and come up with go join some other parties, what will ODM remain with? That should be the question of interest here. So Simba, the mighty ODM party needs to be able to salvage itself as early as yesterday. How do they need to do it? One, as I've always said, they need to get a sober, underline the word sober, party leader who is not compromised by anybody or anything for any cause. Yes. That is how it gets to its track, because the party has already lost its track. When you are holding a mega rally like the one that was in Kakamega, Chunga ground, what are they chungaing ground for? Exactly, that should be the question. Why are they chungaing the ground? When I chunga ground, imefanya nini yenye wanachunga? That should be the question. And you are doing that and you don't have the key members of the party. One, the Secretary General of the party is not part and parcel of the meeting ya kuchunga ground. Another thing, the deputy party leader who hails from that region is not part and parcel of the movement ya kuchunga ground. What are they chungaing? So ODM party should be worried at where we are headed. The talking stage should end as early as yesterday, getting to some other points whereby they're actually taking up action to be able to salvage the party, because everybody else is watching. You see, come 2027, you're going to say that it's William Ruto who's been able to break up this party. It's not William Ruto breaking up the party. William Ruto wants the party, wants the orange in its own full shape. Yes. But there are people still feeling that let's take up these fractions of the orange, leave the other one to go to William Ruto and sisi tubaki kule nyuma. So is William Ruto going to accept that? Because William Ruto loves the orange ikiwa full. But ODM themselves still feel that they can be able to get to the table as a fraction. So the dissenting voice in ODM, the ones we've been able to mention here, if they'll be kicked out of the party, does ODM still matter? That should be the question of interest this morning. And my brother here, I'm happy today is actually speaking the voice that I've always been able to speak every other time we meet here. So ODM as a party, I think it has, it's not yet done. They can still be able to salvage it as wherever it is today. Yes. But again, the talking stage needs to end as early as yesterday, like I've been able to mention, get into action where they say enough is enough, this is the direction of the party. I love the people actually saying that they should not get into a coalition pact today. Let them wait. Let them work on themselves first before they get to that position whereby they are able to decide that now from wherever we've been up to here, this is the direction we've been able to take, and we can now get into a coalition, or we're not getting into a coalition, or we are going to field our own presidential candidate. Already ODM, the reason was why I've always been able to speak to you about the ODM, the current ODM party leader, not in a negative way, but he has already proven today that he's not a formidable leader, because ODM is not built to go into coalitions with people, with governments. ODM is building to going to hunt for presidential leadership. And if they're not doing it right now, then that means they don't have a formidable leader. That is why the dissenting voice like the one for Winnie Odinga. Winnie Odinga and the rest of the people like Edwin Sifuna still feel that they can still be able to get out there and look for presidency. They have members with the capabilities, but their party leader feels he has already reached at the menopause. That is it.
Pretty much. Oh yeah, just before you come in and also react to this list. I mean, this is quite a long list. Looks like the entire of ODM strong wing. Let me just quickly then read this one from Alphonse this morning. He said, "Good morning, guys. I'm watching you from my house. Interesting conversation." And this is what he says, and I will just put it to you. There's something that Oye is not admitting, that even he doesn't have true belief in the leadership of ODM party. In fact, if they had a different leader, they would be having a different conversation. Is that what it is, Oye? That you, this morning, seated here with us, that from where you're sitting, you're sort of saying, had we gone for that NDC immediately and elected our leaders, we could be having a different conversation about ODM other than what we're having right now. Also, as you respond, look at that list that majority of Kenyans are looking at, that if ODM wants to support the government, then kick out all this. Is that not the true face of ODM? If that happens, aren't you defacing ODM? Because Oburu Odinga is telling them, if you're dissatisfied, please walk out. We're not going to kick you.
Thank you, Simba. When I talked about the sunset days, I meant political sunset days. These are individuals who have served in all capacities in the political space and leadership. Individual has been an MP, has been governor for terms, senator, maybe the only thing remaining maybe being president to them. Where we are, as Alphonse asked, that do we believe, personally, do I believe in the leadership? I believe in ODM party, not a personality. It's not a personality cut-like. Yes. And where we are, I think the ambitious leaders within ODM are not given a chance to show that, yes, we are capable to do this. The gentlemen or the leadership who are there, who have exhausted all the positions that maybe they could have run for, they have achieved all their ambitions. Yes. And this leaves us in a very awkward open situation that the leadership we have maybe not that much ambitious, maybe to run in 2032, maybe to run in 2037, or maybe even to try a stroke in 2027. Yes. If we could have had very ambitious leader, and that's where I think the missing mark is, we could have been in a good, better position. We couldn't have gone for this short term running into coalition. But again, on the coalition build-up, allow me to respond to this. Yes. We have two options here. We don't have opposition, and I think we all know. If you check maybe the four political parties in that united opposition, we can see the DCP as the biggest defect in the recent past. I think the biggest number, those who are the founding stage of the DCP are no longer with them. Wiper is quite silent, and I don't know whether Stephen Kalonzo still having the ambitions to lead the country. Yes. Martha Karua, we ran with her in 2022, and we know how she delivered to us. Very minimal, very little to be sown, not even an NCA. The percentage is very low. We remember the DP, the party for Justin Muturi, is a minimal party, and then maybe if you go to DAP-K as well, can't hold Western Kenya. It's only in Trans Nzoia where the governor is much stronger than the party leader. Yes. So there's that other side where maybe the people who are outside the government or the united opposition, as they call themselves, they don't have substantive offer that maybe they can give ODM. So this can't be an option to us. That is one. If you were to run into position, to coalitions. If you come to UDA and Kenya Kwanza, I think William Samoei Ruto, after him, because in Kenya we go 2 terms, it can't go beyond 2027. After 2027, I think is ending. So the ODM party may be much safer with the UDA Kenya Kwanza coalition compared to the other one. Yes. That is number 2. Number 3, ODM as a political party, if we run alone, I'm pretty sure where we are sitting with the numbers that we have across the country, we can force the country to go for a rerun. And if you go for a rerun, we'll negotiate on the table that this is what we can offer. And that's why people like us believe strongly that we don't need to rush into signing the pre-election coalition. Why can't we have then the post-election agreement with the party that may be number 2, or see what we can do if we fail to form government with the ODM party? And what if we form the government as well? They may run to come into us. So we have all those options open. And that's why when Baba was here with us 3 months ago, he was open to all those options. Yes. We never closed the run and said that we are not going to run for president 2027. If I come to another response there was on the dictatorship part of it, my brother. ODM is no dictatorial party. If it could have been, many people could have been kicked away. Many people could have walked away. That's why we are still finding ways of containing and retaining the dissenting voices, those who agree on how things need to be run. And that's why, as I was telling you here, that the only way these people can go is democratically devoted, or they are recalled by the people or the delegates of the party, but not individuals going to press maybe dismissing the leadership of the party. That can't happen. And there are names as well being propped up. One critical one, I think, is my brother, Kasmil Makoure. Allow me to clarify this to the listeners. Kasmil Makoure is not a leader in the ODM party. Is not a leader in the Europe League. Kasmil Makoure was a friend to the party leader. Of course, many people don't know. I'm one of the person who was very close to Kas Makoure the then days when he joined the party, because he was a newcomer. Yes. So he had to show him how things maybe are being done and the doors maybe could have knocked together. Yes. So Kas Makoure can't transact, can't talk, can't present and represent the ODM Youth League at any capacity. He's not a delegate anywhere. He's not elected anywhere. He was a friend. And Kasmil Makoure, my brother, you should not mistake friendship for leadership. You are a friend of the party leader, and by extension, a friend of the party. You're not a leader in the ODM party. So even the party delegates and members from the Youth League, they know who the leaders are, because we have the leaders from the polling station. Since I'm sitting here, I'm having a leader in multimedia. University, where the leader is Victor. That's my leader in that polling station. I go to Karen Ward where I vote. I have a gentleman called Fred Osano, who is a leader there. I come to Langata where I vote. We have a gentleman called Ambiro Joseph, who is a leader there. Yes. Today we were to go for election in Nairobi, which of course are still being held at Ujafanya. But we have people who are running and campaigning. We have Simon Awene, we have Brian Oweno, we have Brian Yobra. There are people who are out to fight for those positions. So Cousin Makowere is not appearing anywhere in the list of the delegates of the ODM party. ODM party, as my brother was putting as well, not anybody, I say, Jack, Jane, or Wayne, can just stand up and start speaking in behalf of the party. You must talk from the structure. Me sitting in here, I've been sanctioned by the Youth League leadership that I can go ahead and represent the party in such forums and also let the people know the truth where we stand. My brother, where we are, we must agree that the people, the list that we have just mentioned there, we have the list of the trustees. Are you going to kick out the trustees? We have the list. You can't kick trustees to replace them with the dealers. We have the list of long-term comrades and friends of Raila Amolo Odinga, the likes of James Agro-Rengo, the likes of Prof. Anyang', the likes of Amuswako. You can't kick them out and replace them with political brokers. We have the list of Raila Amolo Odinga family. You want to kick Mama Ida Odinga, another person, I think, the better half of Raila Amolo Odinga, another person who used to funika baba with net when maybe the mosquitoes are around. You can't replace Mama Ida Odinga with maybe the political brokers, let me say the entrepreneurs in this political party ODM. We have the leaders in the leadership of Morgan. You can't replace Edwin Sifuna. You can't replace Ruto Odinga, the deputy organizing secretary. You can't replace the minority whip, Mili Gesa, with opportunists in the party. So those individuals can't be replaced. If someone is thinking of replacing them, they'll have to show us and give us substantive reasons why they need to leave and need to be kicked out, which again, I'm pretty sure that they are not having. If these people must leave for the Kenya Kwanza to work with ODM, which shouldn't be the case in a year too. We are having ODM past and post 2027. My brother, where we are, we can't have, as he was putting it, we can't have a party that can come in and replace ODM. Where we are, my brother. There's no party. People try to build political parties that later on die so fast. Parties that are not having structures, are not having registers, are not having numbers, are not having leadership, we are not having operational organs. So parties, no party can come to equate or to replace ODM in the political conversation as moving forward. This party ODM you're seeing here, I'm telling you, we the youth from this party ODM here, we tell them, and I'm repeating this, if you're going to be at war with the war of the wits, battles on the paper and on the tables and on the boardroom. We are not going to maybe go physical, but what if that may be the option? We protect this party with all our sweat, with all our might, we the young people of this party audience. Nobody will infringe this party and try to kill it.
Allow me say something just before.
Yes. In fact, as you say it as well.
No, it's not like a political party, Simba. So you don't need to talk much about it.
It's going to have a political party, by the way. And I'm suspecting Mumbo might be
let me say this.
So even as you're at that point, I want to start with that point, and let's also recap some of the responses that we're getting online, because we're just about to step out of the studio. Abuga Makori was saying, and I want you to listen to this as well, because you're going to respond to it as well. Buni Odinga lacks respect for her uncle, Dr. Buru Oginga, who stood by Raila Odinga's side through thick and thin. I hope our de facto leader, Oburu, does not curse her. That rally at Kibra's Kamkunji grounds was unnecessary when his uncle was having other rallies in Western. Winnie was responsible for Raila's blunders in 2017 and 2022. She lacks respect. So I want you to respond to that, or you're gonna respond to that. Let's give Mumbo his time.
This is what I wanted to say.
Yes.
My brother says that there's no political party that can replace the mighty ODM. In a political party where the friend of the party leader calls out the Secretary General of the party,
yes,
That can't happen. There are many political parties coming up, and he's going to be surprised. That is number one. Two. So if you look at that, I think now he understands. Yes. And another thing I want to be able to say is this. I think I've said this and I want to repeat it. Let me now stamp an authority on this. Yes. If ODM party dares to kick out the member that we've been able to mention there, it will remain a regional party, yes, only in Luo Nyanza. Take that to the 20 national bank somewhere and keep it for yourself. ODM happens to be able to do away with those members, then it's going to remain a regional party. That is a Luo Nyanza party. You cannot even be able to hear about it in Nairobi here. And once you just do away with Sifuna in Nairobi here, you cannot even hear about ODM in the next coming election. Why and how? There are members who feel that they can be able to speak on behalf of the party. They even don't want to be able to hear anything to do with the Secretary General of the party. That one, I think, if they're thinking that way, yes, that's not the direction I would want that the ODM party to be able to take. That's it. So there's
this one from Abuga Makori, saying, yes, that when Odinga lacked respect, you can't hold bilateral kamkunji when your uncle, the party leader, is also having his rallies in Western.
I think Odinga is not resonating with the family issues. Family issues should be solved separately. The party issues should be solved separately. Now that is the person again. Now that is what I'm okay. That's where we draw the line. Mm-hmm. There is politics and there is family. That's it. Raila Odinga has never brought his family in the limelight when it comes to politics. We've never heard of Mama Ida Odinga. In fact, not even in the political rallies. Now, if we start talking about Dr. Oburu Odinga being the uncle to Winnie Odinga, now we are reckoning the party completely. I don't agree with him. Yes. Winnie Odinga should be able to continue with whatever she's doing, yes, and forgetting more about the family issues. Family issues should be solved at Kango Kajaramogi, yes, not within the party ranks.
But on the basis of holding a different rally, when the party leader is also holding another rally somewhere.
She's actually speaking her voice, yes, as a member of the party. You've had my brother here as a staunch believer of the party, a staunch supporter of the party, saying that anybody within ODM can be able to come up with anything they feel, yes, anything they feel that they can be able to bring out without any obstruction, yes, and speak their voices. Winnie Odinga is actually speaking her voice.
That's it. Yeah, just a quick response to that as well. Do you think that it showed disrespect for Winnie Odinga to go right ahead to Kamkunji and hold a political rally that was speaking primarily against what the party leader is pushing for, at the same place where the party leader was just a couple of days ago?
Thank you very much, Simba.
Yes.
Abuga Makori, I'm very sorry, my brother, as maybe you see this. That analogy and analysis is backward and very retrogressive. ODM political party, that is the movement, yes, is not a family property. When Winnie came out, she didn't come out as daughter of Raila Odinga or as maid and nephew to Dr. Oburu. She came out as a leader. She came out as a voice of reason. And I think the person who under the family matters will remember maybe during the installation of June is Junior and not Winnie, who maybe have the family matters being held. I think this is far off from the family. That is number one. Number two, on the same to my brother Abugi.
Yes, Abuga Makori.
Yes. It will be reducing us to the things that we can't allow ourselves to go into. We have seen the children of great leaders doing pretty well. And when Winnie stands up, she's not maybe coming up because she feels maybe the party leader is not doing things right. She's one of the party member. She's from Kibra. She was meeting her constituents. Yes. That's where she votes. She's a voter in Nairobi. To my brother, maybe when those people are expelled, the party will be reduced to a Luo Nyanza thing. Allow me to analyze this in 1 minute.
Just a minute.
ODM as a party, as a stronghold, is from Western. As the greatest strength in Western Kenya. That is one. We have strength in Nyanza that you put. We have strength in Kisii that is still Nyanza. We have strength in coastal, the whole coastal region, apart from Kwale, which of course 2027, if things align properly, we need to lock all those 4 counties in the coastal region. ODM as a political party has a great influence in northeastern part, and actually the CAG is part of is our organizing secretary that is from the northeastern part of Kenya, Mandera. We have ODM in the part of Rift Valley. We have in Turkana, in Kajiado, in Narok. We have ODM in Nairobi. It's only few parts of the country that maybe ODM is not having a properly veined leadership. Yes. But the bigger number of the country is under the grip of ODM. That can't be reduced in a month, as you put it, or in a year. ODM is here to stay. And those strongholds, that's why you can see the dissenting voices. Yes. The people from those strongholds are also sending their voices that we think that this is how things need to be done. Yes. So party ODM can't be reduced to a region, as you put it, my brother.
Gentlemen, a couple of responses that you have to go through as well. Miguna was saying that, quickly that just a minute each to respond to this. Raila Odinga did not call for a national delegates convention before he had the handshake with despot Uhuru Kenyatta on March 2018. Nor did he do so when he betrayed the Gen Zs and formed the broad-based monstrosity in 2024. Goes all the way to say there is zero ideological disagreements in ODM. The cult members are fighting over resources. The cult should disintegrate and disappear. Do you agree, Mumbo?
Yes, I do.
That there are no ideological differences. The guys are just fighting for resources.
That is what is actually there. Miguna is calling a spade a spade.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh yeah.
No, you see, the gentleman is not having a party. So when Baba,
you gotta have a party before you come back on this show.
No. It's partyless, Vanna.
You don't come from a party and you just join another party.
And why you run from party to party, Vanna? What you cover?
I've been here. I've been in ODM even before.
So you're ODM, ODM, UDA.
ODM is the only party.
Let me respond to Miguna.
Your time is running out. Yes.
There are things when Miguna's talked about maybe the handshake. Yes. You remember that happened after the swearing in. Yes. That was, and then we also added the Gen Z. I think these are said before. I'll repeat it here again today. But it was tactical compromise for us to save the situation and the country. The country comes first before the political parties where we are affiliated to, and maybe the positions we are holding in the nation. Yes. Raila, being a statesman, had to hold Kenya first, and Raila loved Kenya more than he loved Raila Amolo Odinga himself. Raila loved Kenya more than he loved his own family. Raila loved Kenya more than he loved ODM party. That's why he could make such compromises. I think as he puts it again on the NDC, everybody's talking about NDC. I tell you, as MM puts it again, that the NDC should not be called people are fighting for resources. Where we are is purely ideological. No, he's tweeting from Canada.
That's fine. Last one then this morning before we step out of the studio. This is one from Mercy. Mercy saying, when Odinga was speaking directly to the party leadership, but the question is she disciplined to call for an NDC? Only the party leader can call for an NDC. Mumbo.
She's not in discipline. You know, if you call Winnie in discipline, that is not the language. I think Winnie Odinga, just like any other person, just like any other staunch supporter of the party, like I said earlier,
that's it,
has the moral authority to be able to speak their voices. Winnie Odinga is simply speaking her voice. Like I differ with my brother Makori saying that Dr. Buru Odinga should be able to curse Winnie Odinga for calling him out for poor leadership of the party. Yes. Winnie Odinga cares more about the party. If the ODM is not into existence, I will not be able to debate with my brother here tomorrow. I want ODM to be there. Personally, I want ODM to be there. That's why you see me saying, speaking the Winnie Odinga voice on personal levels as well.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 15 seconds, we got to step out. Is she disciplined to call for an NDC when only the party leader can do that?
ODM as a party is a very disciplined party. Yes. ODM as a party is a party of order. And we didn't call NDC. Winnie proposes to leadership to call for NDC. That is not a call, but a proposal for the leadership.
Yes.
Orderly, disciplinedly, to call for that NDC, we go sit down and converse as a party.
Pretty much. Oof. You know what? Oye said the party is not breaking. The Standard and the rest of us are looking at this split that is just about to break the party. Oye says it's purely based on ideology and it's good for the party to go into differences on ideology basis before they come together. When are they going to come together? It's 2026. January is just about to end. 2027, next year, Kenya is getting into a general election. Is ODM going to be alive? Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me in the studio this morning. Always a pleasure to have you around. Take them back online to the time that you joined us this morning at Lookup TV across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiagesimba. See you tomorrow for another conversation. Good morning and goodbye.